Welcome to Frost Mage Part 2. Today we're going to be covering defensive and offensive play. The first thing I want to show you today is a little poke into the armory so you can see my gear. And you know, I'm not the best geared yet. I'm not even fully geared. And my stats, so if you want to look at my talents and my glyphs, it's all right here. You can always go to the armory and see it. Okay, so let's jump right in here. The first thing I'm going to be doing is breaking down a paladin. Now watch exactly what I do. I'm going to use Presence of Mind, Polymorph, Force a Trinket, then I'm going to use my Frozen Orb to get procs. I'm going to alter time those procs, and then I'm going to use my Icicles to finish them off. Note that I do have the orb, so I'm doing increased damage by a lot. The difference between a Frost Mage in patch 5.3 and patch 5.4 is our necessity to control. I found in Arena that it was much more difficult to go in blazing and killing people, mainly because you have to set up a burst now with Mastery. You can play a mage without knowing about Mastery and just go in, but you won't do much damage. So what you need to know is how to use your control abilities to play offensively. You may think that using Polymorph, Counterspell, and Deep Freeze are more of a defensive thing. Well, not necessarily Deep Freeze, but the thing is, using Polymorph to get a burst out is perfectly fine. You just have to make sure you're using it for the right reasons and you're bursting for the right reasons. Another really important factor towards playing offensively would be getting a good opener. And there are multiple ways to do this, but what I'd like to show you is a cool trick that will... Because essentially, everybody knows what a mage is going to do. What you want to do is be unpredictable. That's going to be your best friend in Arena and Battlegrounds, anywhere, rated Battlegrounds. So, I know a cool trick here, and I'm going to link the macros, or put the macros into the description for you guys. Most people assume when you go invisible that your water elemental and yourself are next to each other. You can force your water elemental out of the invisibility by forcing him to attack somebody. Now, the first thing that most players are going to assume is that the water elemental and you are next to each other, even though you're invisible. So they will waste things like Heroic Leap, or their water elementals, Frost Nova, or AoEs, just to get you out. And what they'll find is that you're not next to the water elemental because you've commanded the water elemental to move without you while you're invisible. That's just one trick. By keybinding macros for your water elemental to move and use the freeze ability, you're able to get openers from distances that you couldn't get before. And you can get openers from around corners, from around pillars, whatever you're trying to do. It's a great way to change the game and confuse people. Because mages rely more on their control now, you'll find that mages are more targeted to be killed. And this is about the time I want to start talking about playing defensively, because playing defensively is about, unfortunately, it's about 90% of what you're going to do as a mage. And you're a very lucky mage if you can get away with not being targeted. So, playing defensively is actually a lot like playing offensively, except you need to use a couple more things to your advantage. One is mobility. Mages have Blink, and you can use Blink a lot. And you need to be using Blink whenever you can, and effectively. That means using the environment, which is LOS. LOS stands for line of sight. If you can line of sight somebody, which is making it so they cannot attack you, then you're in good hands. Not only that, remember you have a water elemental. You can use the water elemental to freeze people who aren't in your line of sight, which makes you a very effective person at running away, which doesn't sound great, but it actually works very well, especially in a 3v3 match where you have a warrior or an elemental shaman or paladin, red paladin, anything that can do heavy damage. They're going to be able to do lots of damage while you're running away. and it's going to effectively bring people away from their healers, which is how you can land easy kills. As of recently, I started taking the glyph of evocation that allows you to heal yourself and regain mana, because not only does it actually heal you, it's great for playing defensive, but it also brings people towards you. So if somebody's prime target for a kill and I can get some health back, and I know my warrior has a burst up, I can go run and hide behind a pillar, use evocation. Somebody's going to call it out on the other team. They're going to run towards me, and during that my warrior can burst and get a kill while they're not focusing on their objective. From this point on, you can see that I have very low health, and I'm going to show you that just because you have low health doesn't mean it's game over, even for mages. So right now I'm trying to line of sight this mage. I palm Presence of Mind, polymorphed him to suppress his damage for now, and now I'm running away to get line of sight of him, and now a hunter has started to attack me. So now my primary objective is to deal with this hunter, so I'm going to LOS him, or instead I'm going to freeze him, and while he's frozen, I'm going to root him and then blink, effectively putting the LOS of him. Now notice while I'm playing defensively, I'm still doing damage, I'm still throwing out my procs. Okay, now I'm using Ice Block, because I'm pretty desperate at this point. But I know that I have Incanter's Shield, or whatever that spell is called, to absorb some damage. So I'm LOSing him again, I'm running away, I'm prepping to use invisibility. Using my invisibility. I notice that I don't have my water elemental out, and I know it's really important, so that's the first thing I do. I'm able to get procs, I'm able to use Altered Time, and I'm able to finish off the hunter. And after this, things don't go so well, but you can't live forever. I try to run away, and I deep freeze the warrior. Then I try to prevent damage from the paladins, so I counterspell him. I try to use evocation to get my health back, to no avail, and I end up dying. But that just goes to show how far you can actually go, how far you can survive as a mage with low health. I didn't have a healer, I didn't have anybody with me. All I did was essentially run away and throw damaging abilities out. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video, and stay tuned because I'm going to start making videos on Elemental Shaman, because it is much more powerful than Mage in my opinion. I'd like to thank nVidia for unleashing their Shadowplay, a new method for recording gameplay. It is by far the best software I have ever used, and I'm loving it so far. And this is the first video I've recorded and uploaded using it. If you'd like to see a part 3, be sure to leave a comment in the video, and look at the description for the key bindings and macros for the water elemental. Also like if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks again for watching. Thomas out.